smart at this point, and we're going to be welcome everybody to the RevMatch podcast, the automotive podcast, where we had a brief technical intermission, and now we're back with Tim from Superdrive.
We are back.
Woo! All right, nice. So that whole thing you just said, that sounded super awesome. Say it all over again, because nobody heard it.
Oh, man. That's a lot of super work, dude.
Okay, so let me try and recap. Tim started. Why you got to do this to me, man?
Because you do it to me. You said it.
I know.
Everybody.
All right, this is Tim. He started Superdrive, which is a sick car show. He started talking about his brand and what his inspiration was, and it was the Touge, and that's how we got to the audio didn't work. So take it from there, sir.
All right, yeah. So basically, from the Touge days that I used to do with a couple of friends, just kind of grew from there. And then we started branching out and doing actual track days because it's the responsible thing to do. But I started to, peel back some of the shortcomings in there where not everyone can be in the track because let's, face it, some people, they like the stance. I was a stancy boy too. So I opened up Super Donut. That allowed, for people, non-track goers, weekend guys, who want to come up for a nice casual Sunday morning, Saturday morning, and, just show off their cars and just meet with their friends, meet with the homies, right? And as the year progresses by, it's starting to become more intentional for me where, hey, there's actually businesses that are benefiting from this, where I can collab with them, I can bring in the people, and, I can bring in businesses with them. And at the same time, it benefits Superdrive, it benefits my backbone business for Superdrive, which is creative content, because I make shirts for a living. I do branding, graphic design. That's basically my day job,
Got it.
Between creative content and Superdrive, that's like my 9 to 5. And then from there, fast forward 2-3 years, I never thought that it would blow up to this, level now, where the last event we had about, I believe, 500 cars to show up.
Dude, that
That's
place was
wild.
packed.
So like, when did you get started? Right. So did Superdrive start off as like meet up and go drive, or was it like a car show for dudes?
It was
who
very
like,
secretive.
Yeah.
Very low key. What I used to do was I would post a flyer, right? I would put a date in there.
Yeah.
And I would put a time, but there's no address. And I would say invite only.
It's like, even if I don't want an invite, now I want an invite, right? Like,
I want to go.
I want to go.
Dude, it's a psychological thing, right? Because, I've been doing Touge since like 2007, 8-ish, right? Now I would just see, this is like before Instagram even was like popping up, and Facebook was still like new-ish at the time, and I would just see guys, post something at night. Oh, we went out here to Touge, this and that. It's like, oh, can I run with you guys? Like, we're not really sure, dude.
Can you run with us, kid? So I'm creeping on Instagram. Is this your S2K?
Yeah.
Yo, what? So I'm
Thanks,
gonna.
nice.
You can continue to talk because I'll just put it up on screen. But like, yeah, dude.
Yes, yeah. So that is my second S2000, and basically I had my first one literally like for like 3 months, dude. And I didn't respect the car. I didn't know what was capable of that car was. I had a newer one. It was an AP2, 2005, and I got it during the recession. It was super cheap too. It's like, I think 15 grand at the time. Now they're like pushing like 20, 30 grand. And, a little over 3 months, I crashed the car. I didn't know how, these cars work.
Love that, dude. Love that.
They have this tendency. They have this tendency to snap oversteer.
Really?
And yeah, they're very, very swift cars, dude. You gotta finesse them. You gotta finesse them real close. Because if you just miss that beat, that's it, dude. You'll spin out.
Jesus. So they're like
very,
Mustangs.
very, very. Yeah, without the crowd.
So every fucking time he says. So real quick, this thing's pretty like, that's a Mugen front bumper, right? And
Spoon.
is it Spoon? Okay. Oh, it is. Oh, that's right. Spoon has the little. Yeah. Okay. The little sidebar thing. You got. Is that a Voltex wing?
It is a Voltex wing.
T37s. What's good?
T37s. I mean, it's your what they say the typical run in the mill track street setup for an S2000. Most S2000 guys are always wanted to have like the Voltex wing.
Yeah, I mean,
It could be a
it's
CE, the CE28, big brake kit,
the whole
seats.
fucking 9 yards.
It's just it's a starter pack. It's a
Did
starter
you
pack,
name this
right?
car Sharkeisha?
Yes.
Hilarious.
That's gold.
Please tell me you have a shirt that has that on there.
I don't know, but
I do.
dude,
Yes!
fuck yeah, dude.
I'm
That's
buying
dope.
that shit right now.
Hey man, I make my own design, so I gotta throw Sharkeisha in there,
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
That's fucking tight. So okay, so you crashed the first SUK, didn't respect it, right? Which happens.
Yeah,
You don't have you don't have to have a lot of power to fuck up. That's for sure. So was it like a did you feel like you had like a right you had to a wrong you had to right to like pick up another one and make it exactly what you wanted it to be and not crash
pretty
it?
much. Yeah, that's where I was like, I'm gonna take a break, but if I ever go back in the cars, it will be another S2000.
So you took a break from cars.
I did for about 4 years. So
Oh, shit,
I got
okay.
my first S2000 back in 2009.
Oh, that's a long. That's
very long.
way before they were asking too much money for S2000.
They're very much asking too much money for S2000.
They're crazy money now.
I watched the S2000 market. It's stupid. It doesn't make sense
at all.
I'm an S2000 guy. I would not buy.
I want one. I can't have one.
So you wouldn't buy one, right? Like for what they're selling now. You would.
For what? Yeah, because I never got it at those prices.
Right.
No.
Right.
You can't call yourself buying it for that now. It's like
it's hard for me to grasp that. Yeah, it's hard for me to grasp that. I mean, I'm sure for like the 240 guys, right?
Yeah.
MR2 guys. So everything is inflated nowadays. I mean, what is not inflated?
Did you say you had your first one that you crashed? Was that was an AP2? That was the 2005? So you had the newer generation in 2009, where the AP2 now is literally going for 30 grand if you have 80,000 miles on the car.
Yeah.
Like,
that's funny you mentioned that because I had 80,000 miles when I got my first.
that car has doubled in value.
You're right on the money, dude. You are right on the money. When I got to the dealership, I was like, oh shit, this thing got only 80,000 miles on it.
I like how he says only 80,000 miles.
It's a Honda.
That's true. And I mean, those things don't.
This.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just getting started.
Check this. I have 217,000 on my car right now.
See?
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
Legit.
I love that shit.
That motor is fire.
But that's why you see so many people now. That's like the K20 swap is the new LS swap. They're putting K20s in everything.
Why would you not?
There's parts everywhere. You can beat the living shit out of them,
and they're gonna run in everything.
And it's not like it's like a V8 where it's a big ass thing. It's this big.
The only
configuration
you can carry.
And they're fucking $800.
You can throw superchargers and turbos at them all day long.
I think somebody just put a turbo
supercharger
in a
GTI
Mark 7. Yeah.
Which that one I didn't listen. I'm pro K swap the world, but like in a car that already has an amazing turbo 4-banger platform in it and like has a bunch of mod support. Yeah, it's like why are we over?
You made it more reliable. That's all.
That's true. That's the great point.
I mean, that is the truth. Like literally, I remember my SI that I had. I beat the fuck out of that thing, and it just took it all day long. Like, just made sure it had oil in it. Fuck it, send it. Like,
just put oil in it. That's it.
Of course, you're this young kid, and you want to hear the fucking VTEC all the time. So you're just in that shit all the time. It didn't see like fourth gear.
I love fucking VTEC. It's so good. All right, so what's done to this thing? What's done to Sharkeisha performance wise? So it obviously looks sick as fuck. It looks like it's fast. Is it fast?
No.
You're making faces.
No.
People.
All right. In a sense, right at the track, it can be fast.
Okay.
if you want to be fast.
Right.
Is it
But
fast in a straight line?
No,
Perfect.
at the track, it does its job, dude. It's
Yeah.
you know,
Hell yeah.
See, like you've got
it's a little
these are
too fast for
horsepower
me.
boys. Is it too really
Yeah.
like mid? So
Yeah.
when you say too
I
fast,
think
like mid corner, like you feel like you're not as fast as the car.
that and like really those like inner banks, like real tight apexes, like
You could take them
and
hard, and it's
yeah,
probably scary
it's
hard.
yeah. With that car is the main weapon for an S2000 is how late braking you can get into that car. It's like, dude, the turn is right there, and I got passengers. They're like, bro, you got to stop, bro.
Yeah.
It's like we're right there. No, dude.
Scaring them.
That's
Scaring
the
'em.
point. If you're
Yeah.
not testing the track limits, you're not pushing it hard enough. I mean, I do not have the skill for that. But like for professional drivers, if you aren't pushing to the edge of the limits to
I mean,
like
that's what
scare
they
your
pay them
passengers,
for. But yeah,
exactly.
but for
Yeah.
guys like us, like you know
It's
what
not
I
their
mean.
car.
It's
I don't
always
need to test the track limits.
Jamal makes a great point. It's not their car, Like, right? Like
Yeah.
they don't have to
If you're out
deal
there
with
driving this slow, you're probably gonna get fired.
it.
I got to drive this thing home.
Supercharger setup on it.
No, it's just
Charger setup on it at one point.
yeah. You had a supercharger setup on that? How
Yeah,
fucking cool did that
I-
sound? Like real talk.
I was like, I didn't see the point of putting that in there.
It's just
Really?
too fast.
It was, yeah, dude. It's like
I've
all right,
honestly heard that before. I actually heard from somebody else that supercharged their S2K. Like it was cool and it was fast,
Dude,
but it
it's
wasn't
overkill,
necessary
bro.
for the car. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
like
overkill.
I remember when I had my Fiesta ST, I was like looking into like modded Fiesta STs, and there were guys with like fucking 500 wheel horsepower out of those stupid things. And I'm like, but that's like that car is cool because it's slow, but you can bury your foot in it always, and it doesn't matter, and you just do this,
Right,
and it
and
just
it just-
goes,
yeah, yeah,
it just
yeah,
goes where I
yeah.
want it.
Yep.
But if you
yeah.
take that, if you power that out of the car,
You had a supercharger.
no, it was dude, it was fucking, it was multi-port
I mean, dude, if you
injection and
had
big
anything,
turbo,
yeah.
whatever, right? Like, but I'm like, now it's not what it was. I like, it's the same thing with like super stupid built Miatas. I feel like when it's like, oh, I put a Hellcat engine in Miata, it's like, okay, well, it's a great
Yeah,
drag
oh,
car.
I
but-
seen that one.
Yeah. Which is
All I
like
can do is donuts now.
Well,
Great,
and
yeah,
driving
you
a
can
straight-
do donuts.
maybe driving a straight line, right? So,
Can you drive in a straight
No,
straight
heck
line.
Yeah.
line?
But yeah, so no, I like that. I like that approach. Add lightness, add downforce, add driver skill. Car will be fast. You know what
Okay,
I'm
wait.
saying?
So, I have a track question. So you know Josh Gibbs, right?
Yeah, good friend of mine. Yeah,
Oh.
Josh Gibbs. There you
Who's-
go.
Who's faster, you or Josh?
Ooh.
Josh right now, dude. Josh is
Dude,
Josh.
he is tracking all the time. Like,
Yes, sir. Yeah. Seat time. Seat time is key. That
Well-
is the best driver mod that you can give for yourself. It's free.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, all you gotta bring is your balls. That's it.
facts.
Yeah,
Facts.
when I went to the track for the first time ever, like a month ago, the trainer was actually talking about all these people that get so obsessed with mods, and I need coilovers now so I can handle better and blah blah blah. And he's like, "You still haven't gone to the track again. You're not getting seat time. That's the number one mod that you need to help your car is seat time."
So
Yeah.
that was the thing with like that was Gurney's thing, right? Is he lived next to Road Atlanta,
Road
just
Atlanta, right?
Getting the
Yeah.
seat time, smoking fucking port. He's
right.
still,
Yes, sir.
if you haven't watched it, go back and watch the episodes with Kyle Gurney because he pushes
It's
a golf.
great.
He bullies Porsches in a Golf R. Yeah, like it's ridiculous. Okay, so
I've seen it, man. I've seen it.
yeah,
I've seen it. I've seen Miatas just walk on 350s, dude.
we were.
I've
yeah,
seen
we were.
Miatas walk on, Type
Every-
S's, Porsches.
Yeah, we were talking about making like a track police shirt, and it was gonna have like a Miata and like a BRZ on the back because like those are the fucking cars that everybody hates in the
Dude.
track.
Dude,
Dude,
like
they're
those
just-
cars teach you how to drive though. Like,
Yeah.
if
They
you can
actually
drive
do.
that car, you can drive the shit out of anything. Like,
Yeah.
and they're so balanced.
Okay,
Oh,
so
no.
back to
Good.
fucking Tim because he's here, right? Because that's the important part. So
Sorry.
you got your car, you were driving, you were doing togays, you start doing midnight club esque Touge runs, right? Drop the pin, and here's the coordinates.
like
and
it.
Be
Fuck
there.
yeah.
No, I think it's fucking rad, honestly.
I'd love to do that shit.
I think if you're gonna do something like that, and like Jay and I used to do like midnight canyon runs, right? Like every fucking Friday night. You're already doing something kind of mysterious, something kind of dangerous, right? So you kind of add to it, and people are gonna gravitate towards that. And you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's very facts, dude. And the more I kind of keep it on the hush, the more it became demanding for people to be part of it. It got to the point that, okay, I'm starting to see kids slipping through the cracks. I don't remember seeing you or this and that, who invited you. And I hate to turn people down in the midst of the event. So, we do actual drivers meeting, like before we go out, and we keep it straight with them. We want to share the conditions of the road, and we want to tell people that, hey, you are on your own in these roads.
It's true.
You didn't come here to pay. You didn't come here to, mess around. But if you do eat it, that means it's on you.
Yeah,
you are behind the wheel. You are the captain of your ship.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't. Yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of opens you up to some kind of liability potentially, right? Because you're like the guy or whatever, and you really got to be like, listen, man, you fuck up, it's on you, dog. If you're not cool with that, like, get out of here. You know what I mean?
It is a liability, and I have no problem with telling guys, like, dude, if you want to go book it, there's the road, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk to the guys here, and we have people that will pace it. 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10.
How hard are you trying to go? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And if you really want to go hard and you want to prove something, it's an open road, buddy.
Yeah.
Take the highway.
Yeah. It's I mean, if you've never, it's running mountain passes like that is something that, like, I have a hard time recommending to people because
I do. Same.
Yeah, it's you have to have a little bit of, like, I don't give a fuck, just a little bit, because otherwise you'll punk out immediately. But if you have too much, you end up doing dumb shit. Like, so one of the guys who used to run with us way back in the day, Zach, had an Integra, and it was quick for what we had at the time. And he used to just like to bump people while we're in the middle of a canyon run. Like, he would run inches from your rear bumper, and he would never hit you unintentionally, but he would bump you. Just boop. He used to do it to Jamal in his Mustang all the time. He just tapped him in the back of the truck just a little bit. Just let him know he was there. And it's like,
little love tap.
Yeah, just, hey man, still here, like, and it's like, but like, we drove with each other all the time. You know what I mean? Every weekend we were always in the canyon together. So you know how your homies drive. You know who to put in front. My headlights were fucking stupid bright, so they always put me in the front. You know,
Alex is in front, yeah.
So, but like, when you're basically, you have randos out there, right? Like, you have just like, you have your group of guys, but then you have some, like, did that ever cause you like a lot of stress? Was there like anything like crazy that happened because of that?
Little bit, because for one thing, he's a rando, he's a brand new, right? And sometimes you get a guy like, oh, I know my car, and we just want to give him a nice caution, right? Because back to the liability thing, if I'm the one who's throwing this event, I want to make sure that everyone has a good time and have fun and in a safe manner.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think
more than anything, everybody needs to get home, right? Everybody's got to get home.
That's true. Yeah. That's the whole goal is to go up there a nice early casual morning, just get your runs in, go back to the wife, go back to the kids, and get brunch.
That's it, man. And it's funny because, like, Jay, do you remember when that kid rolled his WRX up there right at the top of the ring road? So, and this was
the one that rolled or the one that went off and hit the tree?
No, the one that, well, he went off so remember the ring road, and there was like the little ditch that would drop off right off of it, and he rolled it down into that ditch, and then it like caught on fire because he still had the ignition on, like a fucking idiot. Yeah, so it's really hard to explain, but this is probably 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Well, I mean, he lived. Everybody was cool, but like, 1:00 in the morning, everybody would park up along the side of the mountain. This thing called a ridge road. It's basically just like a plateau. It's almost like a parking lot on the top of the mountain. It's just kind of small, but it's the intersection of a couple of like one-way roads where people would drift or just do really fast runs or whatever. And there's a hill that leads kind of curves around down into that like plateau, right? And this kid comes flying in his WRX, and we're walking down from where we parked just to where everybody hangs out. And he comes flying down in his WRX. And I don't know if he was trying to like do an e-brake turn and be cool or whatever the fuck was the plan, but he does. You hear the tire squeak and then the fucking thing just goes off in the middle, and he rolls it and he climbs out, but he leaves the ignition on. So the thing's like starting to catch on fire upside down and this whole shit. He's like, my dad's going to be pissed and blah, 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 all this other shit. He was like 18, dude.
Did he realize it was an all-wheel drive car?
Dude, it was.
Well, no, he said
Go
when he got out, he said that he was going to keep going straight because you could go like you past the plateau where
and
everybody
back up
was,
to
like,
the other
kinda
side.
kicking.
Yeah.
Go straight and go over and then like hit one side of the mountain, or you could like hook a nice little J turn and go downhill. He decided to hook that J turn real late, and like
And just basically,
there was no brakes, nothing, no brake lights, it was nothing. It was
yeah, he just
going
rolled. But it was
straight, and he
a,
just like,
No,
oh,
he
wait,
just
no,
went
no.
straight.
yeah, and it
He
was
just
a,
went off. Boom.
and like this is like 2012, dog, 2011. This is a brand new WRX wagon, the wide body WRX wagons, right? Like the one that Timmy lusts after, but not an STI.
The best generation there is.
I agree.
Besides the coupe.
I agree. I saw a built wagon the other day. It was black, and I was like, that shit still fucking hits,
good.
dog. You know what I
So
mean?
good. I hate seeing them on the road because, like in Elk Grove, I see blue WRXs with an STI wing. It's like, it's my fucking car. God damn it!
So
Is that like the first mod that people get?
Fuck yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like yes. I feel like
WRX
now, like all of you, like I feel like now a lot of people like not having the wing. But I
Yeah.
mean, I was one of those kids that had a WRX and I wanted a fucking STI wing. But I put a built motor in my shit, so I deserved it.
and then he blew
But
it up.
like,
You didn't put oil in it.
it's not my fault. It's not my fault.
It's the owner's
Literally-
responsibility to put
it's
oil in their
literally
fucking car.
nobody
It's literally
else's
your
fault.
fault.
Okay.
Literally your fault.
So
Whatever.
okay, so sketchy liability aside, you said that like so Superdrive is still going on to some degree, or is that just the name of the company now? Do you still do tailgate
Bro,
runs
we
now,
go
or-
to Superdrive meets like every month.
I know that, but I'm asking if there's
So as
if
far as
there's-
the Touge runs,
yeah, exactly.
yes. And I'm actually planning to bring it back, but I'm gonna make it real difficult for people to get in.
That's a good idea.
Very good idea.
I think that's a great idea. And
You
I
have
don't mean
like
that to be
subscribe to the RevMatch podcast if you want to be able to even be
Look at
anywhere
fucking-
near part of
Rule
it.
number one,
done.
dude.
No, well done. Well done, Timmy. We keep him
Beautiful.
around for something. Shit, I didn't know
Yeah.
what it was until right now, but we keep him
I'm
around
here
for
all
a reason.
week. I'm here
Um,
all week.
No, but I think especially, and I was like, everybody's getting older. Everybody's more well off. So, we used to do tailgate runs in 240s and Mustangs and Integras, and now we're
Oh yeah, dude.
doing it
I
in
was about that life.
right? We're doing it in R33s and 400 wheel horsepower STIs and 500 wheel
Scary
horsepower
things.
GTIs and
Scarier things than what we grew up on.
3.20 to 60 fucking S4s. You know what I mean? Like we're going
It's
out. and-
3.5. Okay, I'm not that fast.
Oh my
I'm not that fast.
Listen, nobody cares about your soap bar. I was just trying to include you.
He's
man.
stopped now, so it went up to 3.5.
It's still
Anyway, that's
like
not the point. The
4.0.
point is like I think that with the caliber of car that people can afford now, and as fast as shit is, you got to be a lot more like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that
Yeah,
Hellcat effect,
yeah.
right? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you, I have not taken the STI out since I did all the stuff to like in a real run. Like,
It'll be a way different
little-
car.
I'm a little nervous.
You got it. You're
Which, and I mean, and also like we haven't had an opportunity for you to take the Skyline out. Like
he took it out once. Well, the one time I went with you, he took it out. It was in the rain. It was like the first time you'd really driven it, and he
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
gonna push it because nobody's gonna push their fucking Skyline
That
on a
is
rainy
scary.
mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
that is sketch, dude.
I still remember the kid in the Honda Civics. That's all that matters.
Oh yeah, there was a kid in a super fucking clapped out Honda Civic. Like,
that thing was
so
And he
bad.
would not
Wheels.
get the fuck out of the
Oh, yeah.
goddamn
It wouldn't.
way.
It was wild. So what made you?
Yeah.
So you were doing super drives before, and then. So like, when did the transition? When did you get the idea? Like, hey, I should just do a fucking car show, in addition to doing, or instead of, or whatever the positioning was.
It's within like first couple months, dude.
Oh, really? No
So
shit.
it's not so much more of a transition, but it's like, okay, you know, I kind of want to offer something that's a little bit more chill, where okay, maybe this Saturday or maybe this Sunday that's coming up, we could just grab coffee and just hang out. The first
Yeah.
Super Donut, I did remember I just bought like 3 boxes of donuts and I had set it on my wing, and there was like 25 of us. That's it, dude.
Hell yeah.
I mean, that's tight though. Like I mean,
There was
look at
25 cars. I still remember like it was
That's a
yesterday.
lot
and
of cars.
Dude, yeah.
yeah, that is a
That's
fucking
cool
lot of
shit.
cars.
It's not like you're at Wendy's. Like that's still a lot of
Bro.
cars.
I mean,
That
I
show,
got the
his
video.
last
yeah.
show, like, that was crazy. Like, that's the biggest car show I've ever been
Dude,
to.
that was okay. That's the first time I've ever seen an R34. So thank you for putting on that show.
Isn't
That
it
is literally
wild
my-
to see in the yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was there. We like walked down the first lane, and I was like, Mike.
Was it bigger than you thought it would be? Because it was bigger.
Yes,
Yeah, it was bigger than
yes.
I thought
Yeah.
it would be. The first time I saw one, I was like, "That's a fucking
Absolutely.
big ass whip." Like,
And it's like the thing about the R34 is like it's one of the best looking cars ever made.
I
but it's
can't
so
wait for Lenny
simple.
to be in the chat just slandering R34s.
It's coming. It's coming. He's finishing his podcast. I guarantee he'll be here in probably
So
like,
our buddy Lenny from Zero Lift podcast has he has an R32 with a top secret engine in it that he got he
Ooh.
bought, built in Japan, and then brought it back over here. So that his car is fucking badass, like no lie. But this
Original
motherf-
tint.
yeah. Other than his tint, yo, if you ever meet Lenny, just hate on him for his tint. Just like knock him down a peg.
his tits
Um,
busted as fuck. But he
anyway.
will rock that shit all day long.
Just
He
knock
doesn't-
him down a peg.
He just doesn't care. But he will just slander fucking Arthur. He's like, they're ugly, they're boats, they're fucking stupid, blah blah blah. He's like, they're overpriced and all. With the overpriced part might be accurate, but we'll leave that alone. There's
They're
way-
price of a
Yes,
house
it was
right
Charles
now,
R34.
Charles, my buddy Charles. Shout out to Racer Sharp. Yeah, that's his username. But my buddy Charles, yeah, he acquired it, I believe, last year. Yeah, and he just rolled it out.
Did he finally put it back together? His brother was sending me photos of him tearing it all apart and stuff.
Yeah, it was the head gasket, so it's all put back now.
Did they
And
do
it
turbos?
should
or
be
no?
ready.
Dude, can you imagine trying to do
That I'm not sure. I haven't kept up with the actual, details on the build, but I saw the carbon fiber hood, so it's one of the new stuff he added in there.
I'm looking at a lot of R34 front end parts. I have long term aspirations of buying a Stagia and doing an R34. I want a 260 RS and doing an R34 front end swap because I love wagons, but I've always wanted an R34. So this is like the
That's
easiest
the move, bro.
Bro, it's
I mean, Stagia and R34 front end. I mean,
It's shit's hot.
Even if you paid $60,000 for that fucking car, even if you
hot
paid
shit like
60
pooping a jacket, dog.
It doesn't matter.
That's gold.
Even if you paid $60,000 for that car and you put an R34 front end on it,
For 11
you're
G's.
you're still money ahead of the game before fucking buying an R34. Like, you're
Well,
still
yeah.
money ahead. Like,
I'm gonna overland that shit, bro.
Please
yeah,
don't. Please don't. do
fuck
that.
yeah,
Fucking-
lift
Come
that
on,
bitch,
man.
Yeah.
lift that bitch.
As
That'd be badass.
and listen, as long as it's like an RSV4 and not like a 260 RS, I'll co-sign. But like if it's a 260,
Yeah.
like dude, Lenny gives me shit because I want a front end swap a 260 RS. He's like, why wouldn't you just buy a cheaper one? I'm like, I want an RB26. I want a fucking Skyline. You know what I'm saying? Like I want a real fucking Skyline.
I
Yeah.
want that
I
blue
just-
plate that
yeah.
says Skyline.
I just want it with a fucking wagon in the back. That's all. You know what I'm saying? Like, was that so much to add?
So I
Yeah.
just want to comment since Mike and Lenny were talking about this Midnight Purple 99 Skyline GTR V spec on Bring a
Oh.
Trailer.
Mm,
So as Lenny said that there were issues with the car, this
Man, that
car
car
was
got
withdrawn.
It was shamed
it
so
was shamed.
badly.
Really?
Pulled the
You didn't hear
aux
about
cord
this?
off. I've never
So-
seen this.
Literally in the body seams, like the pinch welds of the car, it's like riveted. Like it's like a rivet through the seam weld of the car. So you can tell like something happened to this car, whether it had rust
Yeah.
or whatever. They repaired it so horribly, and like they threw it on there as like this mint.
It was at $195,000
Yeah,
the last time I looked at
science,
it.
science certificate of authenticity, all this
I mean,
bullshit.
it's a midnight.
and
It's
then-
an RS. It's a midnight purple R34 V Spec 2.
I
cream of the-
get that.
cream of the
Not
crop.
factory front seats either. Somebody pointed out that the front
Correct.
seats were swapped out.
Yeah, so
Correct.
it had rivets in the shock towers, and that sucks.
No. And the body seam underneath of the car.
I mean,
It
Yeah.
ran the entire length of the car.
I'm
so and
listen. This is why I'm totally anti fucking bring a trailer at this point. They've increased the
That's kinda
market.
sus, bro.
It's super sus. And the fucking thing about like if you try to sell a car on bring a trailer, and what's his name did it with the RSTI, right? They make you take a billion photos. They want a fucking life story of the car and all this other shit. So for a high dollar car, a high interest car, a super rare car like an R34 that's stateside, that's legal.
I mean, I ain't
you know
trying
what
to
I mean?
fight you, but what do you mean? I heard that they send out a professional photographer to take the photos and they make the story for you.
See that I didn't know.
That's the point of you paying
Oh.
Bring a Trailer $400 to list your car.
no, I think that's certain things because I know Ryan listed his 98 on Bring a Trailer and
Yeah,
they
and
didn't
he
do
said-
that.
I thought somebody came to take photos of that thing.
No, that was
Take photos of
Ryan.
this dick. Anyway,
Really?
you like that segue? As I'm trying
I
to
do.
get back
Like
to the
I
guest
do.
who's on the
Oh,
show.
God.
I'm satisfied.
But anyways,
So 25 cars and a box of donuts. That's a pretty good turnout for like a first attempt at a car show. That's not bad.
It's really good.
I wasn't even looking at it as a car show. I mean,
Just like a
yes.
meetup.
yeah, just meet up.
Yeah,
hang out
just
with
a
your
meet
homies,
up,
Hanging out with your
right?
friends.
It's a car
it's
meet.
just super casual because some of our friends, they, I feel for them, right? They don't want to take it up there. It gets a little sketch, right? So
Not
that
for the faint of
for
heart.
me, that's for me to like, hey, you know what? We don't got to go up there every weekend. We don't have to do this like every other week. I can just do this like super donut thing, and we'll just be casual about it and just bullshit. Pop your hood. We'll just check it out. Just have
Fuck
some
yeah.
Talk
donuts,
about new shit you
coffee.
got or like ideas. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Talk about
I-
this
yeah,
sticker I put on my
I'll-
rear quarter window.
There you go.
Asshole.
Yeah, plus 5 horsepower.
Right.
It's all about clout, homie.
So yeah, it's a little bit more like easy, right? It's more open at that point, and from there on, I started doing it every month, and each month it's starting to grow, like 10 more cars, 20 more cars,
Fuck yeah.
and local businesses starting to catch on. They're like, hey, I think this should benefit like my business. Can you collab? Like, all right. I mean, this is like in the middle of the pandemic
Yeah.
when everything is closed, right? And we were just barely like kind of easing into it. I worked with Vampire Penguin.
Yeah.
Shout out to Raheel. And
That's
I
when
don't
you
know if
had
guys-
the Pagani there.
Yes. So
That was the
one-
only Pagani I've ever
You
seen
had
in
a
my life.
fu-
That was cool.
That I've never seen in person. That's wild.
And by the way, he just was like,
So
right.
that
You have
That
a
was
fucking
me.
Pagani.
I know. Fuck yeah.
There is not much that a girl, man, beast will not do in the passenger seat of a Pagani.
Okay, but how many
That is a
miles
fact.
are on that Pagani? How many miles are on that Pagani?
7.
That
He drove it
Pagani
there and he went back in the
walks
garage.
back often.
stop. The dude always drives it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know
yes!
Oh,
this guy.
nice.
Yeah,
drives the
man.
shit
He
out of
goes-
it.
Fuck
Yeah,
yeah.
he
He
literally
drives
will
that
just go
shit.
fucking like grocery errands, all that bullshit. He'll just go drive the fucking
Yeah.
car. Like
Yeah.
I
Drive
follow him on
through
That's
social media.
awesome.
Like he literally just drives
Dude,
it all the time.
God.
I
That's
fucking
what's
love
up.
that.
McDonald's. I call it Macquarie,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Like that's what's up, dude. He took it
So
up
what
to
does he have to
Texas.
take that to like fucking New York for service or something? Where's Pagani? Is there one in
LA.
LA?
San
Yeah.
Francisco, I think.
Sure, there's
Yep.
one.
There's
LA,
one
yeah.
in San Francisco. It's not in LA. It's in Malibu. But there's one in or Newport, one or the other. But yeah, and there's one in San Francisco.
Calabasas.
Oh, for sure. There's one in fucking Calabasas.
Damn, there
100%.
got to be one there.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. There's definitely one in
I
Calabasas.
got a whole bunch of
somewhere.
Armenian
Don't
American fake ass in
Is there-
Calabasas.
Is there only one in the San Francisco area?
I'm sure you gotta. So like a lot
It
of the
might
guys
have
that,
been like because I was there.
He has
It was a
two of them.
Lamborghini.
Yes,
Oh, there's
two
two
of
of
them.
them.
Yeah, he
Lamborghini
has
two
Pagani dealership.
Paganis.
Yeah. So he has the Huayra as like kind of like the daily Pagani, and he
Jesus.
has the Zonda, newer spec. My newer spec is what I call it. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah,
It's a $1 million
Yeah.
car. They sound
yeah,
fucking
15 years ago.
ridiculous. They sound fucking Zondas.
the
I've heard,
Zonda. Yeah, Zonda.
I've heard Wyras and they sound gnarly, but like there's
Yeah.
there's that F1 like V10 V12S sound that comes out of a Zonda. Woo! Like, and it just
Yeah.
revs super
Yeah.
fast, and I'm like, that shit's. They let you drive
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
That's legal on
Yeah.
the
That's a
fucking road.
dangerous
Okay.
business.
Yeah. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
This since we're on the thing at fucking supercars, hypercars. Did you see the Jesco Ultimate or whatever the fuck? The Koenigsegg motherfucker
Yep.
does over 310
Yeah.
miles an hour.
Yeah.
Why?
What?
Why?
Did
Why do we
you
need
notice
that?
that?
Who's
Why
doing that? Who's
not?
driving that? Who's driving
Did you
that?
notice that that's what I was driving
white
before the stream?
70-year-old man who cannot drive the fuck out of that at all.
No, you'll
This dude's
fucking
driving that
murder
car.
yourself. This was like this is
God.
Tim, this is your first time on the podcast, so I'm gonna let you know right now. This is basically how this goes, brother. We just kind of fly off into random bullshit. But
Fine by me.
this is why you will hear if you go and you read like all of these reviews about McLaren 720, anything close of like a 760 LT, 765 LT, because those are fucking ridiculous, right? But you look at like any Lambo short of like an STO or something like that, or any of these
Right.
hypercars are like, oh, they're so comfortable to drive around town. This is the fastest they're ever gonna go 9 times out of 10. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right,
these guys aren't
yeah.
getting on this shit.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're fine, but it's like, dude, I don't care how much money you're charging. If I can go 300 miles an hour in a car with air conditioning and a stereo, like I should not in any universe be able to go buy that car. Like being
Yeah.
rich enough should not be the barrier to entry for a car like that. It's like how many
There should be a multiple license.
how many
test
times
and
have
a
you
driving
podiumed
test.
at Le Mans? Okay, cool. You can drive this car. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Like,
We should
you
drop this off to you at the track. Like you don't take
like the Ferrari FXXK
Right,
thing,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah. Which
Yeah,
is
we
like
have a program.
yeah, which is like at the time I was like, well, that's fucking stupid. Who would pay $2.5 million for a race car you can't drive all the time? And now I'm like, that's a great idea because idiots should not be allowed to drive fucking race cars
Yeah.
all
I
the time,
mean,
dude.
that's
Yeah.
that's the unfortunate thing about Porsche. Anybody that has money can go buy a brand new Turbo S and be faster than anything on the fucking road.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You press the gas pedal and you're going 100 miles an hour.
It's a great car. It's not. We're not gonna talk
Any-
about fancy Volkswagens for the 57th episode. in a row,
Right.
okay,
dude.
we're gonna
Talking
get
about Paganis right now, okay?
yeah, right. I'm on some hot
I
milk
think
shit right now. Leave me
I
alone.
dropped a
Hey,
level by
back
going
to
down
the
to
tip.
Porsche.
Jesus Christ. Oh, Atlanta.
So
Oh my Atlanta.
so
That's great.
it's the car show has grown. I'm in Texas. I'm out of the loop, so I get to watch these guys go and hang out longingly because the Texas car scene is fucking whack. No offense, but
Really?
everybody
Mm.
wants to go straight. There's a drift scene, but it's not as big as the drag and NASCAR scene out here. Street racing, roll racing, all that shit's really fucking big. I don't really care about any of that shit
Mhm.
at all. I mean, it's cool. I'm like, damn, that motherfucker was fast. Anyway, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of where I'm at with it.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
1320 is big out there.
dude, it's dude, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, TX2K, which I want to go to a TX2K,
Right, yeah.
and we thought about
Yeah.
doing it because it's cool and there's wild
Yeah.
shit and there's Lambos pulling wheelies and shit, which is tight. But it's like it's
It'd be
not.
cool to see some Alpha 12 GTRs hitting 6
Yeah,
second
but it's
quarter
not the
miles.
shit
Yeah,
that
there
like
you
go.
that like makes me excited, like really excited. Like I love drifting, dude. I'm like, yo, look how fucking sideways that motherfucker was. And he didn't hit anything or kill anyone or whatever. Or I like Touge
You
racing.
don't
Or I
like
like,
speed?
yeah. I mean, it's cool.
Like you're
It's
on a car podcast and
Well, no, but
you're downing
it's literally,
speed?
it's
Like
literally
just
like you
pure
just said, though,
unadulterated
like
speed? You
hot,
live in
nasty,
you
Texas
see
and
badass
you're
something
speed.
fast and
You're
you're
right,
just like,
just-
okay,
just-
next.
See,
Everybody
let me
can
here we
press
go.
the gas
This is
pedal.
this is
Everybody
this
can press
is
the gas
right.
pedal
This is
on
the
the train.
thing. This is the thing.
Shut
Hey,
your
that's
dirty
no, Mike.
mouth.
Not a lot of people can press the gas pedal.
Bro,
Yeah.
all
Shut
right,
up, Tim.
everybody
I swear.
stop. Daddy's talking. It doesn't
Shut your
take a lot to
dirty
make a
mouth.
car fast in a straight line. And you doesn't even really fucking matter what car it is.
Yeah, you can ask my
Realistically.
car.
Right. It's literally damn near any car. You can like, oh, I can make it run, you know, a 10-second quarter. if I want to throw enough money at it. Or in the case if you look at like Fox bodies and old Marrows and shit, you don't even have to throw a ton of money at them. You need a big ass eBay cart. You'd be straight for at least 3 to 5 runs. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you're gonna go fast as fuck like 5
Enough
straight
to get you a
times.
couple videos.
Yeah, for like 6
Yeah.
Gs. That's pretty good return on investment. You know what I'm saying? So
It's
that's why
tight.
that shit doesn't
Because you can go get one of those motors at a junkyard, cheap as fuck.
fucking whatever. So
Yeah.
that's why that
Yeah,
shit
there
doesn't
you go.
interest me, right? Because it's like that's why as I've gotten older, I like really quality builds. And like this is why we had the conversation last time, Jay. It was like, if I'm gonna build a drift car, it's just gonna be a piece of shit because like I like nice shit too much. Right. So I basically have to tell myself like this thing is a piece of shit. Just let it be a piece of shit. It's ugly, keep it that way, whatever. Because if I let it be nice, I'll make it a street car and I'll never want to go sideways in it. Right. I'll
Yep.
put it'll be too nice and I'll never want to fuck it up. And so
Mhm.
it's like, well, I'm not going pro. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
you
gonna be
don't
fast
have
and
you don't
lame.
have
you know?
what is it, Adam LZ money. Adam
No.
LZ
Yeah,
built
it's-
that
I just wanna-
S15,
I
that
just-
green one,
I just
Yeah,
want to do
and
hood
then
rat
just
shit. I want to do
fucking
hood rat
wreck
shit.
the fuck
Yeah.
I
out
don't
of
care.
it.
Yeah, I just want,
Yeah.
bro. He
So-
wrecked his Pro One car that he spent $100,000 of his own money on. His own. He built this beautiful he put it in a fucking wall in New Jersey.
Bro,
And then he rebuilt it,
He
he
had
put it
this
back
street.
together.
No, he had a street S15
I
that
know
was
that
green.
motherfucker's got a
and
fleet of shit that
Yeah,
gives
that
me a
was
hard
clean.
time.
That was
That car was so
Yeah.
clean though, and like he was drifting on his property and like ran into somebody, and the whole front bumper's just fucking destroyed in
Man,
his thing.
You're Adam
And he's
LZ,
like,
though, dog.
I was gonna try to keep it clean for the next car show, but fuck it, whatever.
Yep.
Which is
Yeah.
hilarious to me that he fucks up his S15 when he's literally slid that banana like S13 like a fucking maniac for like a straight decade and never
Oh,
put it
I
in the
know.
wall.
Right. Like yeah, like that's his car.
Yeah, that's his
100%.
thing. But okay.
So,
Anyway, back to the important shit. So you're getting businesses to work with you. I do have an attention span. I can remember shit. So you're getting businesses to work with you, which I think is a really interesting point that you've made a couple of times because a lot of times, like local businesses don't appreciate the car show, right? They're like, you're taking my
Mhm,
parking, you're blocking out my
Yep.
business, and they don't
Yep.
realize, like,
Mm-hmm.
dude, we have a lot of people with disposable income that are going to be cruising around, and like you could become a
Yeah.
part of this and garner something out of it. So like what businesses how has that networking helped you grow the show, grow Super Donut, grow Superdrive?
Well, mainly, I do it in the morning, right?
Mhm.
And there's only a window of time that I can do that, which, it's before business hours of the neighbors of the business I'm working with. For instance, with 18 grams, I'm on the area in the spot that's neighboring with the Container Store, Century Theaters,
Right. That's a
Nordstrom
big
Rack.
shopping center.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's those big boxes, right? They're around it, and they don't open till like 11 or 10:30. So, before that, that's my window of time to just do this car thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And it works out well for 18 grams and the prior businesses I work with because they get the influx of businesses and attendees right even before actual business hours starts. And then along with that, I set up my own pop-up booth and set up my merch in there. So they just don't go in as like, oh, I'm gonna get coffee, and they get to see the Superdrive booth in there. I got my merchandise, T-shirts, whatever new drops I'm doing. They get to see it firsthand. It's pretty discounted too, cheaper than what I sell it for. Having it online.
Right.
So it's quite a bit of a unique experience for people when they go in. Oh, dude, I never seen anything like a car meet. This is a car meet. Like this looks like a show to me.
Right.
The caliber of the cars that comes in, the quality of the people that comes in, and there is like vendors in there, and I get to have coffee and something else.
Yeah.
So,
the show is legit, dude. Like it's.
I want to go out to
and I appreciate you guys coming out there. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like
I do. I wanna go
Okay,
out.
you had a guy standing outside of 18 grams at this last one that was doing 360 photos of people, so people could stand in this thing, and he had this little
Right.
mount set up for a camera, and he would spin it around you, and he was
Yeah.
taking 360 photos of people. Like,
Yep.
it's just random shit, and everybody was so excited about that.
Dom. Yeah, that's Dom. Dom wanted to be a part of it. But yeah, going back to the actual, benefiting the business and the networking part of it, I see more of an intention on this where I could be, oh, hey, I could be a part of this community where, this business survived COVID because, I was able to, bring in this kind of car meet to them and help them through the rough patches of the months where, things are not, popping when there's no business.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
And
everybody goes get some coffee. Like you get there, like the first thing
Yeah.
you do, you gotta go get coffee.
Yeah, it's
line.
early as
Like,
fuck in the morning,
lines
right?
to the
Like,
parking
yeah.
lot, no matter how early you get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and those days it helped them, and it helped me too in my business when there's nothing going on. So I made this show bigger, and I just wanted to see and test it out and see if I can network myself creative contents that makes all the Superdrive merch behind it. If I can use that, Super Donut Show and Superdrive as a vehicle, as a tool for me to be able to expand my network from there through the platform of cars.
Yeah, fuck
You
yeah.
know,
And community and all that other
why
shit.
not? And a community and build the community at the same time.
Yeah, I mean that's
Hey,
kind
it's
of
a win-win
like
situation,
yeah, that's like when we started this whole, and it's rapidly devolved away from this because Mike bought a fucking GTR. But like when we started this whole thing,
And Alex
Sorry.
moved to Texas.
well, no, but what I'm saying is when we started this whole
No.
thing, the point was like
No. I know what he's gonna say.
there was a misrepresentation in YouTube content, in a lot of content, where everything's a 6-figure build, right? Even if it's a 240SX, it's a 6-figure build, right? You're looking at all these YouTube channels, they're building all these crazy fucking cars, and it's like most people don't fucking drive cars like that. And they're building them in their garages and they're doing shit on tighter budgets and all that kinds of shit. And they like to drive fast and they like to keep their cars clean. And why aren't they getting more exposure? Just the more like regular kind of cars. And a lot of the first episodes, and even the episodes we do now, it's smaller guys building cars on their own, doing cool shit with them, right? We got our Ain't Burn Rubber on here. We got our homie Kyle Gurney. You know what I mean? We've had guys that built their own shit.
Didn't we have a diesel turbo Del Sol?
We did have a kid who put a it wasn't a diesel Del Sol, but he put a turbo from a diesel on a Honda engine.
Yeah.
And then raced a clapped out Del Sol.
Diesel
It's running on gas though, right?
Yeah, it's a gas powered engine. It's a B like
Came
a
up on Kyle like he wanted some
yeah,
fucking.
he stepped to Shody at the function and he got to be at the podcast. But that was a shit show of an episode. This is very early on.
That was terrible.
This was like this dude was literally in the backseat of his homie's car going to get Taco Bell for like half the episode. It was horrible.
Wasn't he ordering pizza at the end of it?
It was fucking terrible. We were very, you're learning who is a good guest to have on and who isn't, right? Like you have to have somebody that's entertaining. You have to have somebody that'll hold the conversation, that'll be engaged, all that kind of shit. And we didn't really know. We were getting started. But my question is, you made a comment about like the caliber of car that comes into the show and the type of person, and everybody's pretty chill. When I look at your content, because I always watch the shit that we post when like the guys will go and we post it on the channel and all that good shit, and they'll look and they'll repost your stories and all this shit.
Right, yeah, through the tags, yeah.
Yeah, but like everything's super high quality. The production value is super high.
Your media is
your media presence.
The drone
top-notch.
video quality looks
well,
awesome.
even just graphically speaking, like you look at our operation, and this is a pretty small thing, but we pretty early on I was like, yo, we need to make this shit look clean, because if it's just a fucking Discord window on YouTube, nobody gives a shit, right? Like it's got to look like you give a fuck about what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So let's get some custom images made. Let's get some custom logos made. Let's get some branding shit that we can use to continue to grow the brand as time goes on. And now we're working on another run of shirts, which are gonna be fucking tight.
So get ready.
That shit, it's gonna be hard as fuck if it comes out the way I want it to. And the graphic designer we've used with all our shit so far, she's amazing. So hopefully, I have no doubt.
Nice.
I have no doubt whatsoever. But that not being said, I think that, and my question to you was, do you think that branding, do you think that the level of graphic design, the cleanliness of the media that you present, the way that you present the brand, do you think that kind of does the job of weeding out, I hate to use terms like riffraff because I never want to be exclusionary in the car community because I feel like there's enough of that as it is.
Yeah.
But there are people that are they're dumb.
Yes.
Looking at you, everybody who's ever done a donut during a public time in a fucking intersection ever, looking right at you into your soul. Your mother's disappointed. So like
sideshows are stupid.
Fucking dumb. Anyway, but like from what I've seen, you really haven't had a lot of people like peeling out of places or revving the fuck off or doing anything like that. Do you think that the level of quality that you bring to the table in terms of production, do you think that automatically like keeps those people away?
Let me ask you guys. I mean, what do you guys think with what you guys see? You know, with the pages, with the reposts, with the videos.
I mean,
What do you guys'
people
perspective on that? I mean,
I feel like seeing your videos, they're the people that do donuts in the street don't expect to go to your meets. Cause I mean we've left late sometimes, and like the guys in your supercars that leave, they don't even like pull away. They don't
Just drive
pour it
away.
away. They just
Drive away.
drive
They just
away.
leave.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
actually just drive away nicely.
Yeah, because there's no
So, like,
point. Like,
I don't know that
You know what I mean.
anybody
Yeah.
that drifts around everywhere like thinks like, oh, I'm gonna go to the Superdrive meet so I can do donuts in the fucking movie theater parking lot.
yeah,
Overall, I think it presents a respectable meet too, because I
Yeah.
mean, you look at Cars and Coffee in Rockland, they got shut down, and they don't present, you know, the car meets like you do. They don't, you know, come out and, you know, they put pictures, like there's no videos or anything, but I
No.
think the way you present it,
yeah.
yeah, you get a couple guys revving their engines. You know, everybody's heard of V8. You know, they have to rev their engine, right? But
There's some random little
I don't-
infinities with turbos that sound absolutely obnoxious that come through there. It's like, what the fuck is
right,
that?
you know, but overall,
Yes.
like we're hanging out there. We leave a little late sometimes. Nobody's burning out. Nobody's, you know, high revving stuff. And when they leave it, everything's respectful. And that could be out of respect of the content and, of course, you and the businesses in that area.
I think it's that thing of
Yeah.
like,
you got that right. Yeah.
you know, like I don't know if you've ever been like hella broke, or like you were just a scumbag kid like I was. And so when I was pretty young and super broke, you didn't even know the words I was gonna say. You know what I'm saying? You're just like talking shit. You don't even know what I'm saying yet. Anyway,
My
when
job.
I was put into. I got a cool opportunity with a major car manufacturer to work there for a while, and I got put in some like really wild situations that I was socially unequipped for because I never operated in that strata. Right, the people that I was dealing with are like heavy hitters in the automotive industry, and I was like, I mean, fucking, like my car's 2 colors, and I drove it to work today. Whatever. But it like makes you not want to fuck up.
These tires.
Right? Like it makes you want to like keep your shit close to the chest. Don't be the kid who makes a fool out of himself in front
Don't be
of all.
that guy.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think that when you present your brand that way, and when you have a high level of content, which is what I personally strive for this podcast to always be, is a high level of content in terms of production value and cleanliness and branding and stuff like that. It says a lot to your brand, and people like that are just, they're not going to want to be there. Right? Because they're like, oh, I want to go do hood rat shit. It's like, we don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, we don't fucking do that here.
Well,
We're gonna chill.
I think that goes back to like he was saying, is like the caliber of car that goes there, right? Like it's not like, and I hate to say this, Alex, you're fucking two different color painted 240Z, right? It's not. I mean, these
I
are
wouldn't
like
go to that
real.
like,
well, yeah, like there's really respectable. Fuck the R34, his brother's R33. There's a couple of super clean R35s. I mean, that RX-7, the red one, the wide body that's for sale, that was in SEMA like 5 years ago.
Is it the one? Is it the one with like the RX3 front end?
No.
Okay.
No, it's the Rocket Bunny, the first
Rocket Bunny. Yeah.
I remember that.
So
yeah.
But like
So
you, and I think it's part of the community that you've kind of even built. And I've seen like your Touge run pictures and that kind of stuff. Like the cars that are there, and like the way I know Josh is actually through Porsche because he had the GT3 RS.
He had, that's how I met him.
That's how I met Josh too. But like when you're commanding those kind of I was just saying when you command those kind of guys,
fucking around.
Real mature.
right? You command that crowd. They're not out doing dumbass shit, burnouts in the street and that kind of stuff. And I feel like even
people.
the car culture that he pulls to this is you have that respect. Yeah, you got the guys that rev the engines, but like they're right. Nobody's revving tires. Nobody's doing any of that
and
stuff.
I think that like it's really important to make the point that like I love burnouts so much, and I love supercars and Porsches and ignorant shit being done. Like, if there's a GT3 RS, he's like, I'm gonna rip a bunch of fucking donuts. I'm like, that's fucking awesome. But like, don't do it at 9:00 in the morning on a public street. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, hey, let's go find an industrial park where nobody gives a shit because it's a Sunday, and let's go fucking let me see that shit rip. Fuck yeah, you know what I mean? And it's like if you biff it, worst case, you lost a Porsche and probably owe somebody a trailer, but like that's it. You know what I mean? Like it's not, and none of that is my fucking problem. So whatever. And I think that like, and Jamal and the podcast we've talked about this, kind of at length, and Jamal and I have talked about it like on the side, is like when we were younger and we were running in the mountains at night, we went late on purpose.
Yeah.
We didn't fuck around in the street on purpose.
On purpose.
Right? Because it's like, now we're trying to keep it low key. And I think anybody who was like in the car scene in the early 2000s, mid 2010, before takeovers takeovers took over, everybody has a story where they were fucking around in their car and a cop let them go because they were cool about it. Right? Like, like
we all had that.
Yeah, like you're doing donuts in a parking lot somewhere in the middle of the night, and a cop's like, "What are you doing?" You're like, "I'm just fucking around practicing because nobody's here." It's like, dude, just can you get the fuck out? Like, yeah, you got it, dog, and that's it, and you're out.
You
know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't want to do this paper.
Yeah, and it's like you don't fucking argue with the cop. You just fucking leave. Appreciate it. Thanks for not impounding my clearly illegal vehicle, and have a great night. You know what I mean? And that was it. But I think that somewhere along the line, this element has made its way into the car scene. That's more about. The car is purely an instrument of dumb fuckery, right?
Yeah.
There's no love of the vehicle. You know what I mean? Like they don't care about the car. They're not car people. They just like doing dumb shit, which is whatever. But like, it makes us look bad.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's the guys like us who getting the short end of the stick on that, right? I mean, for the normal public, cars is cars, sports cars are sports cars. For someone that doesn't know about it,
just loud, obnoxious, whatever.
I've seen you guys before, right? And it's already hard for us to set us apart from it. From somebody that sees it from the outside that doesn't know.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the difference?
Well,
right?
especially especially if you're into like Japanese cars or like muscle cars, right?
Muscle cars, yeah.
It's like you're easily like I'm sure that somebody has looked at your S2000, and anybody who gives a fuck about Hondas and JDM cars and S2000s be like, yo, that thing's fucking sick. And anybody who doesn't is like, look at that ghetto piece of shit. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because they just don't get it.
Day.
Yeah, they just don't get it. And because the preconceived notion is it's loud. I don't actually know how loud your car is. Most S2000s I've ever heard are actually not that loud. But it's low, and it's got a big wing on it, right?
Yeah.
And so they just assume that you're a fucking idiot by default.
Yeah.
And not realizing like, yo, have you ever driven this fucking car? Do you understand how amazing this vehicle is to drive? And do you understand that all of this shit on here is here for most of it's here for a reason? I'm sure that there's shit on your car that's on there because it's like it looked fucking rad, which I'm a huge proponent.
The wing. No.
Does that car get tracked?
A lot, dude. It used to. 2020, 2021 was like, season after season. It's just been put through. So I mean, I'm just preserving a car right now and taking it out on events and nice weekend runs. I mean
you got miles on it.
Yeah,
like, that's the best
thing.
thing.
Yeah, I'm on the 2 Hundo club. So
is it like ready for like a refresh, like a full like refresh? Like
just about. But I'm just enjoying it right now. I don't want to go through the headache. It's gone to the state that I'm content for now.
Yeah.
As we may know, it never ends, right? It's a continuous build. But I'm okay with this for now, and I'm concentrating with Superdrive, creative content and building up the business, and just having the S2000 as part of the Superdrive and a tool to be able to recognize me. Hey, that's the guy that runs Superdrive. So, business it's like a business card, pretty much.
That's cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
100%.
So apparently,
100%,
just Josh Gibbs is the dog with the GT3. He joined the Discord.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No way.
What's up, John?
Because I
Yeah.
tagged him. I tagged him on Instagram on the RevMatch. And I said,
Nice.
Can I
"Where
tell you
at,
something?
Josh?"
So I was reflecting on this, and this is actually great. Are you a one man show? Are you a one man operation, Tim, for the most part?
For the longest time until this year. So I'm building teams now.
Yeah.
I got to start delegating because
It's too much.
It's super overwhelming.
Yeah.
I'm running technically 3 businesses.
Yeah, that's a fucking lot.
Yeah.
Man. Hell yeah.
And I gotta save my psyche here because as much as I love doing entrepreneurial shit,
It's a lot, dude.
there's also a life outside of that. And I'm in the process now of delegating, building teams, and making sure that things run smoothly. You guys seen Superdrive, how crazy it got already, and
It's a lot to manage.
it's a lot to manage. It's a lot to manage, and there's more that I have planned for Superdrive that's gonna really need more hands on deck, and definitely planning a lot to make sure that this thing keeps going, in the long run.
Well, fuck yeah. I mean, I think that we would love to continue supporting that, and
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
showing
likewise,
up.
likewise
Yeah.
for you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I
Yeah.
think that we should, we should show up and show out at that motherfucker. That's all I'm saying. But
I want to ask her. I don't want to interrupt you, but like, you have Super Donut and Superdrive. When did you change from Super Donut to
did
Superdrive?
you not hear the whole story that Super Donut is about chilling and Superdrive is about driving?
I'm
Come
sorry,
on, Timmy.
Okay. No, but listen, because you don't
Who's
go to
this
the car
man?
meets, Alex.
That's
Who's
fair
this
point.
man?
That's fair point.
The last meet that you called last meet the Superdrive meet. It is we are chilling at the Superdrive meet. So the last time I thought a Super Donut meet happened was at Best Buy, which was like 6 months ago. So like I don't know. I don't my bad if I didn't hear the story, but I don't
Just give me
recall
shit.
like where was the transition from Super Donut into Superdrive, because now
It
all
still
the
is.
meets are the Superdrive meets essentially.
Hey, calm down.
Yeah.
I'm just
It's
asking questions.
Interrogating.
Super
It's not the
Donut
fucking
is-
Spanish
is-
Inquisition, Timmy. Okay, the man's just trying to run a
Lo
car
siento,
show.
senor.
Okay. This fool said lo siento. No mames, way. Get out of here.
No mames, way.
It's the best when I'm playing Call of Duty and the other guy's like, no mames.
Anyway,
Oh, man.
answer the simpleton's question and we'll get back to the
Right.
adults talking.
So basically, Super Donut is the name of the meat, and Superdrive is still the umbrella brand.
Okay.
And yeah,
Got it.
Super Donut is the branch, which is the meat. For the future shows, I mean, there will be changes, but Super Donut will be kind of like one of those, every other month or maybe every 2 months kind of regular thing, casual meat.
Cool.
So
I mean, it's smart. You can do different things with different things. You can have Super Donut being cars and coffee. You could eventually have Super Drive being giant fucking all day car shows, right? Like you can really
right,
having
Yeah.
more tools
And
in your belt is a good idea,
And I did a beta test on it. What is it? Around March? Yeah, 3-4 months ago. It's called the Spring G2G, Spring Get Together.
Right.
So I just basically, it's still the same format in the morning. It's a little bit longer. However, I have actual vendors now,
Hell yeah.
multiple businesses in there to be able to showcase or maybe sell tacos.
Yeah,
I was
the
gonna
boots
say,
up. You're
yeah, I was
legit
gonna
now.
say, like that's like a cool
Breakfast
thing to
burrito.
do.
Jamal's so
Yeah.
excited.
Hell yeah.
Breakfast
You don't
burrito, this
understand
motherfucker.
Los Angeles
I
Mexican
don't
food
drink
culture.
coffee, dude. I wake
Yeah.
up to a breakfast burrito.
You don't
There you
like,
go.
dude.
Yeah, I
there's-
had that last time actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody in
Yeah.
LA wakes up and is like, I will not eat Mexican food today. That's not how it works. Like that shit's like in your face all the time and it's delicious and you're gonna eat as much as you can.
You will seek
Bro,
that out.
You will
We're in
find it.
Sacramento. He's got Humble Root as his vendor right now. And when I see
Oh.
Humble Root, I'm like, hey,
Hey.
what you got for me today?
They have a great delivery service. I may or may not have used it a lot during COVID.
I may or may not.
We keep it merch with them. There's certain things that we can only collab with, but you know, I'm always
It's
open
tough
to
when you're
everyone.
talking about drugs and vehicles. You know what I'm saying?
It's tough when you're
Yeah.
trying to have a
Yeah.
respectable car show and
There's a fine
collaborate
line,
with that.
Yeah, you guys want to get high? Yeah, no, I got you.
Oh god, yeah, what's that one? Cars and cannabis.
What do you mean? They
This is
sell sweatshirts. What the fuck are you talking about?
horrible idea.
Like I want to go to one meet, but it's like
Is that a
something
thing?
about
Is that
this.
an actual
Yeah, it's
thing?
a real thing called Cars and Cannabis.
That's a terrible fucking
and
idea.
I want to pull up, but like I feel the same
It's a
way.
great
Like,
idea.
man, something
You
about
should
this
walk
that I
there.
just
You
think-
should park your shit like 3 blocks and walk.
fucking Uber over there.
Bro,
Fuck yeah.
when I think back to like GMR days, and I'm like, we would hit a liquor store on the way up and roll a blunt or whatever, and we do the run at 1:00 in the morning, flying, bro. Right? Whatever. You get to the top of the mountain, what you do? You're pounding a 40 and smoking a blunt, and guess what? You have to drive back down the same road that you just drove all the way up, and it's still sketchy at 40 miles an hour at 3:00 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? And I'm
It's
like,
the same as when you were going 60.
yeah, 110, but whatever. And who's counting? Only on the downhill. That bitch wasn't doing 110 uphill. Let's keep it real. But, and I think about that shit, and I'm like, that was so fucking stupid, right? I was 22. I didn't know anything. I was an idiot. And now I see shit like, oh, cars and cannabis. I'm like, why? Who thinks this is a good idea?
I mean, I look at it and I'm like, yo, like that's something I would think to do, but it's like I don't like the pictures. Maybe like harking back to what you guys said earlier about his content. Like when I look at their content, I'm like, I don't know, man. This seems
I don't want
like
to be there. Yeah.
I feel like a cop is going to pull up. Like, all right.
You and it's weird. It does almost kind of, and I hate using this term, gatekeep itself, right? If your production level is to a certain degree, you're automatically going to exclude a certain amount of people. And if you are doing something, cars and cannabis, that's kind of like probably not a great idea, you're gonna invite the people who will like be down with doing some shit that's dumb. You know what I mean? And
I feel like we're giving him a hard rap. I'm gonna go check one out now.
I would love that.
Before-
I would love for you to be
before
the
we-
man on the
yeah,
street
I'm
for
gonna
the
go-
cars and
I'm
cannabis.
gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to one and see what it's talking about.
So the reason that the main reason why I asked Tim, why I asked you about like what's it like trying to run that shit as a one man show, is I was ruminating today about the fact that we've been doing this for a minute. We're gonna hit our 50th episode by the end of the year, which we're gonna figure out something fucking cool to do for that. It's in 12 weeks, so maybe I'll be in California. Who knows? For that, who knows?
Don't fucking get our hopes up, you bitch.
We'll figure it out. Michael will have to let me drive the GTR because I won't
Wow.
have a rental. But big
Oh,
brain.
now it's a
Yeah,
GTR,
no,
not a
folks.
fucking Ultima. Now it's a GTR.
It's a GTR. Yeah,
It's a GTR, huh?
It's a GTR when you let daddy drive it. Yeah, it's a GTR when you let daddy drive it.
Daddy better start sucking up real quick.
I was gonna
Real
say
quick.
I've seen a lot of Mike's cars lately. Now that I work at Nissan, there's
Dude,
Sentras all over the place.
I will.
Oh.
So to be fair,
Yeah.
the R33 is, while I really actually do like the R33 a lot because there's a lot of cool versions of the 400R, the Nismo, and all that, the GTLM, and all that shit. It is the least quote unquote Skyline looking car. It's the most homogenous to like Nissan's overall design theory than any of the other Skylines, right? Like the R32 is kind of an outlier, same with the R34 and the 35. The 33 kind of fits in with the product line to some degree at that point. So I give Michael a lot of shit calling it an Ultima all the time. He doesn't like that. That's fine. But I was thinking about this shit
He
today.
still wants to drive it though. You still
I mean,
want
it's
to drive
dude,
it.
it's got RB in it. Of course I do. Red-blooded American like anybody else, right? But I was thinking about it today. It's like I'm really good with like creative shit. Like we're designing this T-shirt, and we're like, oh, we should do it off X. And in my head, I was like, this would look amazing. And I like put it to these guys, and they're like, yeah, fucking send it. And like when it comes to the graphics on the show, they're like, just do whatever you think's great, right? Whatever. And I'm cool with editing and all that shit. And I'm good talking to people, but I fucking hate networking. Meanwhile, this fucking asshole over here will literally harass people on the internet until they get on the podcast, which would give me anxiety, but he doesn't give a shit. And that's amazing.
It works.
And it works. And it's great. And I appreciate the fact that I have a guy like him who's like, I'm just going to keep it.
Job.
Yeah, I'm going to harass this motherfucker on the internet until he finally agrees to be on the show. And I don't care.
Hey, man,
Listen, dude, I'm with you. I'm with you. But I'm just glad that
works.
you are here to do that so that I don't have to, because I would end up in a dark room crying abusing people on the internet because my social anxiety would get in the way, whereas you apparently have no regard for anybody else's time whatsoever,
There's
and I
no
appreciate you for it.
harassment training video for this, okay?
Yeah.
No.
But
There's
that's
no
like
red flags.
right, but
Hey,
like
there's
that's
no
No red flags.
but like that's kind of the mindset you have to have in content creation. That's the mindset you have to have when you're building a brand, is you have to be ruthless, and you just can't think about the consequences. You can't think about somebody saying no, right? You just got to push. And you just got to continue to keep forward doing your thing, and that's something that we've kind of learned doing this whole thing for the last couple of years. It's like, dude, we've been doing this for almost 3 years. We're just now starting to see real growth because podcasts are so saturated, right? It's so hard to stand out in this kind of market. So do you think that there was something aside from production value and all the other things that, all of your skill set obviously brings to the table that gave you the ability to grow that brand so fast and quickly over a few months go from 25 cars to 500 cars?
Dude, it all comes down to connecting with people.
Fuck yeah.
Showing up there, showing myself, communicating with them, just talking to them, man.
Yeah.
I mean, car people are car people, and I always wanted to come in with an open mind, never judge anyone when they come in with, even if they have the clapped out Civic,
Gotta start somewhere.
But I still, I mean,
Dude,
those
some
days,
of those clapped out Civics are fucking
fast as
sick.
fuck, boy. Anyway.
Yeah,
Okay,
right?
some of
You never
them
know.
are like real fucking nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, regardless of what the car is, right? Whoever comes in there, Super Donut or the Superdrive events, I just connect with them. It's still that person to person connection.
Community.
And they see me, and this goes out to the people that support me, the Superdrive, the crew, the people that help me, even in the beginning, And I just ask them, hey, this is, I mean, it's kind of like just a weekend thing. I mean, it's nothing really like I want to pressure you to do something. I mean, just have fun doing it as well.
Right.
We go out on drives
Yeah.
and just enjoy the ride. And from there it just kind of it grew, and I still wanted to keep and show face. That's my main thing in there.
Yeah.
I only missed one Super Donut. It was one of the biggest one too. It was a Lunar New Year Super Donut.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
That was a big deal. And
It's gonna be a
I
big
ran
show
that,
for sure.
I ran that remotely. And
Oh, shit.
I had a little bit of trust issues before going into it. So I want to make sure my team is solid.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure before we even do this, are you guys willing to be part of it? I'm not trying to pressure you guys, I mean, that kind of dialogue with them, but at their own will, like, hey, let's just
but
have
you've
fun.
built a brand to some degree, and you have to entrust it to other people to make sure, like, because the thing about like shit like that, and this is shit that I've really thought about as this podcast has grown, especially with who we have on the podcast, is every single person that shows up is a reflection on you. Whether or not you're affiliated with them in any way, shape, or form prior to that meet or prior to them being on the episode of the podcast or whatever, from that point forward, they are associated with us, and anything that they say, do, act, or whatever at some point could come back on what we're doing, especially if it's said or done during the podcast or said or done during your car show, right? So it's like,
that's all connected to you, to anybody else that you're associated with. That speaks a lot for you.
And like these guys, we've all put in a lot of work on this shit over the years. You know what I mean? This is generating content's a fucking commitment, dude. You do it rain or shine, right?
And they're hard, man.
Yeah, they're listen. I called an audible a couple weeks ago. I was like, listen, I'm fucking burned out. I'm stressed out. I can't do a podcast this week. Like I need to take a break because, I do the editing, I do all the other shit, right? And you got to take those like moments for yourself. But it is like when you're doing this shit as a second thing, because I got a kid, I got a wife, I got bills to pay, I got car payments, I got everything else, right? And this ain't paying any of that shit right now. So this is always a second hustle, and you're grinding, you're doing your thing. So to entrust that to somebody else, like I run the pod out of necessity because I understood how everything works and I got it set up to whatever. But like if I had to let anybody else run it, even one of these guys who I trust with the brand to the fullest, still would stress me the fuck out.
You're welcome.
I feel for you. I feel that.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure you feel the same way because you know in your head how you want things to be run, what's the proper way for things to work, how you want the brand to be positioned, all this other shit. And even if it's people that give a shit as much as you do, or at least you think you do, it's like you're like, here, watch my kid for a weekend.
You never know when it's gonna come.
I was gonna
apart.
go there. I was
Yeah.
gonna go there.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's fucking tough. It's a tough situation. So
Yeah, it is. It is tough, and you know, going back to that example as a kid, like, you know, this is your child. Like, it's a very fragile thing, and nobody sees it that way other than you.
right. Right.
You
Because
know,
it's
and
just
at the
something they
same
did on
time-
Saturdays, and if it goes away, they're like, oh, I just don't do that
Yeah.
thing anymore.
Right?
You know what I
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
The end of it. But at the same time, you know, this is when, for me, to start entrusting people. You know, starting delegating with them. That, okay, you know, so and so has been with me for like 2-3 years now. You know,
Right.
he knows the deal. He knows the setup. You know, maybe I can start opening up my doors a little bit now.
Yes.
But it still goes back to that, you know, that kid thing. It's like, okay, you know, just make sure you don't drop him. Make sure it all runs smoothly. So
Have you? I'm sure you have. You've heard the 2 and 70 rule. Have you heard that? So
kind of.
so when you're starting a business, right? We're gonna do this. We're gonna do the fucking 10x fucking build a brand entrepreneurship here for a second. When you're building a business and you are starting it, you run everything. You do everything, right? You have complete control and you know how you like things done. There's a preconceived notion that you should try to find someone that will do things exactly as you do them, right? But that's literally impossible because nobody's you, and you'll find
They can do
yourself
70% of it.
exactly. So you, instead of trying to find one person that does 100% of what you do, you find two people that can do 70% of what you do,
70%.
right? And you end up with 140%, right? So don't expect anybody to be you. But I have my guy who cares about this, and I have my guy that cares about that. And if I let them work together and they work together, the brand will continue to succeed, and I can start looking at higher level things rather than monitoring, you know, all the ground level shit. And I feel like
Yeah.
I'm fortunate enough to where I have fucking, how many of you assholes are there? 4 of you guys? 3, whatever.
17.
Sure. Where everybody gives a fuck about what we're doing, right? So like I can be like, yo, Timmy, can you do this? And he'll be like, yeah. And I'll hit up Mike, be like, yo, can you do this, dog? He's like, fuck yeah, I got it. Same shit with Kyle, right? Like, hey, take a bunch of
Right.
pictures while you're doing this thing. We'll use it for content. Got it. Done.
Yeah.
Right. And so like, or like we need a guest. Who's got it? Oh, I got it. Whatever. Having all that shit to pull from is a lot. And that's just running this podcast. So for me to think about, you're running a fucking car show, all these moving parts, and you're doing this shit by yourself. Like that to me feels like a monumental task to try to keep that running smoothly and like grow it until you have people you can trust.
Yeah. It's having people. It's not the problem. It's, you know, trusted people.
Right.
Selected, trusted people. And I got to this point now that I have to carefully handpick who can go in here and be a part of this, you know.
Right.
And I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful for having a crew that's always getting my back, friends and family that's getting my back on this. You know, and you know, it, like you said, it's a reflection. It's a reflection of how you carry yourself out there. If you're about the sideshows, I mean, I got nothing wrong with that. You know, you will
Now
have
fuck
the
them.
same crowd. If you have, you know, I mean, cool guys that drives, you know, like Lambos and stuff like that, or humbling, I mean, that will be your reflection too.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
Isn't there a saying about, you know, you are the average of 5 people that you hang out with?
Yeah. I've heard that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's the truth. It's the fucking truth. Because
It's
like
the truth.
and like if I'm gonna be sentimental. If somebody was like, "Oh, these are your people. These are how you are," I'd be like, "Fuck yeah, these are my dogs." Like I trust all these guys. You know what I mean? I've known Jamal since I was fucking knee high to a duck. You know what I'm saying? And like, I've hung out with all these dudes forever, and we've built this brand together and all that shit. So I have a lot of comfort in the people that I work with.
You really sound like a dad.
I'm the oldest one here, I think.
I'm
maybe. Other
knee
than
high
Kyle.
to a duck.
Oh no, that's right. Jamal's 40. I forgot about that. Ha.
Yeah.
What?
He's pushing. He's 38, right?
Nah,
38?
I'm 30, I'll be 38 this year.
No way.
Black don't crack, baby.
Yeah.
Motherfucker looks good. What do you want me to say? He looks everything
Yeah.
shit.
I ain't gonna lie about it.
I would have never known.
I'm not gonna lie about it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he looked. I met this dude when you were what, 22? He looks exactly the fucking same. Meanwhile,
Damn.
Yeah,
I
it's
look
You
been
like-
gotta go back. You gotta
Bro,
go back.
yeah. Oh yeah.
a long time, yeah.
Meanwhile, I look like I
You gotta
recently
go
got out of
back.
a federal prison. So whatever.
Old as fuck.
Um,
You
no,
got
I
a lot
think.
of white in that beard.
Yeah, dog. I know. Well, I gotta equate it to all
Looks
the white on this
purposeful.
podcast. Sorry, couldn't help myself. So my major question is,
Kick that door in.
and I've been thinking about this the whole time because I look at again how tight your branding is, and obviously that's your fucking thing, right? Branding and building brands and having that skill set. What's the future of Superdrive, Super Donut? Like, are you gonna start doing things like, are you going to push this to that next level and start doing track days that have car shows attached to them? Like, how far are you going to take this? Because I know that this is kind of a vehicle, to your point, to grow your other business, but it seems like this is thriving pretty well. So, like, are you going to try to take that to that level, or are you kind of cool doing what you're doing?
Yeah. I mean, I've had that in the horizon, even a couple years back. But I'm gonna ease into the local car show first, and I'm gonna try to do not so much of like different from the other car show, but it's a little bit more, I would say, it's a little bit more niche, and it's going to be more of a selective, kind of curated type of car show where I wanted to showcase a little bit more of the generational chassis that from the pre-80s, 80s, golden era, the JDM 90s,
Oh yeah.
early 2000s,
Dude,
and
his,
the
his
newer
Honda
car.
shoot was fire.
So like almost like a JCCS
guys,
or like a Radwood or some shit.
There will be more. There will be, exactly. But
yeah, okay.
It'll be a little bit of hint of that, right? So I'm just gonna give you guys a little bit of kind of selection point process I wanted to pick on cars here. I'd rather pick like a 240Z that's still half done, that has like a nice set of Watanabes in there that's not even built yet. They just wanted to roll it in a car show, right? And then I can even pick a nice S13 that's not five different colors, that has a Blitz 03s.
Right.
Also,
you got options.
Yeah, and and I wanted to pick something a little bit more newer as well. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, what are like a Supra? That's like track spec.
So you're really trying to do like a curated display.
And then throw in a nice E30 M3 in there.
I think that's fucking cool. Yeah, I think that's.
And then cool. And I'm not even gonna say no to like the Overland guys, because I like seeing them in there too.
Yeah, our homie Chris came out with us the last show. They used to be on the podcast, and like he was in heaven with all the cars out there.
I think that like I'm a big fan of clean builds, regardless of what the point of the car is, right? Whether it be a track car or a lowrider, or I mean, stance cars to some degree, because like I still get boners off.
To some degree, yeah.
Like, dude, listen, a big
Don't
body.
overdo it though.
Yeah, but like a big body VIP car with fucking demon camber, like shit's kind of hot. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's still kind of hot.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I had a GS at some point, dude. I was on the game like that.
Dude.
Like a GS
4,000 miles to a set of tires, baby. Let's go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. The top of the it has to tuck, right?
Yeah.
Like
you got to tuck at the top, and then
it's
minimum of 5 degrees in the rear. Like that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
Yeah. But that's what the car is for. Like, listen, an LS 400. Yeah, you can make a drift missile out of it, whatever. But it's never gonna be a track monster.
Why would you?
Right. I mean, because I think me. I like seeing big body shit slide around. But
that thing is so nice to to stance and
when it's laid out
like
cruise.
that. Oh, God,
laid out, with the lights and shit. Curtains,
yeah, I mean it's got a good sounding V8. You can put super parts on it. Like it's cool chassis, right? But it's like if it's laid out, if it's I've run out of love for super slam static cars in my old age with a bad back. Airbags are better. Just spend the money. Anyway,
Just spend the money.
just fucking spend the money. Listen, dude, if you're gonna spend $400, if you're gonna spend $400 on Junction Produce curtains, you can put a fucking air ride kit on your car. Just saying.
Yeah.
This is true. I saw
Fact,
Stamps
fact.
Lexus
Yeah.
on the 405 the other day, and he was like just holding up traffic because he just couldn't go fast enough because he was just bouncing so hard, and it was like a jacked up part of the 405. They're like doing construction.
Yeah, it's the 405. It's consistently
but it's
when my
and
brother
I was
was
wondering,
living with
did he
me,
get
he
out this
tried.
early to avoid traffic, or is he really going?
He's roughing it,
was
huh?
like, yeah,
He
it's
is
like
roughing
7
it.
a.m. and I was
Hey,
like, are you
dude,
trying to get out?
I've had those days that I'm worrying about my stretched tires. Am I gonna make it to work?
Dude, I hate that shit.
Yeah.
People don't understand the anxiety of being a car guy. It's like, I built this, which means that if it sucks, it's my fault.
Yeah, it's on me, motherfuckers.
And if I break down the
I'm
side of the
held
road,
accountable.
this is the
I'm
only
held
guy
accountable for that. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And like we've all listen. You modify a car, you are. You're gonna kind of make it worse in some degrees, and there's no way around it, dude. Like, you know what I mean? There's no such thing as equivalent exchange when you're modifying vehicles. If you're making it fast as fuck, it's inherently less reliable. If it handles great, it sucks on the street.
Full Metal Alchemist?
Fuck yeah, I did, because that shows the shit.
Oh, I'm so
Hey,
glad.
it's just the nature of personalizing it, right?
Yeah.
That's the price you pay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're like okay with that sacrifice. You're okay.
Yeah, you accept that. You
you
accept
made
that.
the-
Hey,
yeah.
You
But I
made that deal.
Yeah,
But
I
it
think
sucks when that breaks down and all the people that were looking at you like you were stupid when you
we're
were doing
right.
it are
They're
like,
right, and they're right.
see, I told
Like
you not to
some
do that to
major, fucking major L, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I
Like,
told you.
Known.
Running
Yo,
around
the
the
Can I
car
do-
that
clown
low.
found
What you
fucking-
doing?
Alex.
Found meme and shit.
You ever been
Alex,
ratios
check-
on the side of the tent? What's up?
Alex, check the IG.
Check that. Who's? Oh my god, what did you?
This.
Yeah, when my brother was living with me, he tried to pull his LS 400 in the garage.
I
and,
would daily the fuck out of
What the fuck? Tim,
Jimmy.
Tim, if you want to see, because I know that you
Happened to
can't
the
see what.
LS
Yeah, you just
on in
got to
the
go to
garage.
Hold on, let me see.
twitch.tv/RevMatch podcast. You can see this right now. That shit. Oh, is this not working? Somebody else say a word.
Word.
Hello.
Perfect.
Word.
Okay, no, it's. I just want to make sure the audio's not fucked up. I got a complex now. I'll fix it before the next pod. But yo, that shit is so fun. The chain
That's
link
what I would-
license plate. The chain link license plate is just like there's this like really weird intersection between VIP cars and American lowrider culture, because like big body lowriders are apparently like a niche market in Japan. There's like a whole culture, like there's a whole subculture of dudes in Japan that
Right,
want to
right.
be fucking cholos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They get tatted
Yeah,
up.
I've
They
seen
rock,
that. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
yeah.
they'll rock Ben Davises and Pendletons and the whole fucking 9 yards, and they push fucking Impalas. You know what I'm saying? And it's like there's now
Yeah.
this intersection where you'll start to see lowrider culture creep into VIP culture when they're basically the same thing, but just on two different sides of the planet, right? Because I mean, VIP cars are basically a Yakuza thing, and fucking lowriders are a Veterano thing. Like, you don't get the money to fucking have your frame hand painted unless you're moving weight. You know what I mean? When you're growing up in the fucking hood. So I think that shit's really cool, and I think that speaks a lot to how global car culture is, and how in America it's very easy for us to be like, oh, I want what the Japanese are doing, or I want what the Europeans are doing, and like it's really easy to miss that like the rest of the world is also watching what we're doing, right? And it's so different from that. Like I used to really fucking hate on dudes that would rebadge like Acura Integras as Honda Integra Type R's and shit like that. And I was like, that's fucking dumb. Why are you doing that? And then I'm looking through Super Street in like 2004, and you see them rebadging Hondas as Acuras
The Acuras
in Japan.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
so everybody just wants
the cross-
what's on the other side of the fence. So like, fuck it, dude. Everybody's just having a good time, right? Like, let's just let people
one-
enjoy.
Isn't
with
there
it.
like a culture
One
of
more
dog
for you.
fans in there?
One more for you, Alex.
What?
One more for you.
What were you gonna say, Tim? The culture of what?
Dodge vans in there? Like
Dodgebans.
the old school
yeah,
van?
fuck yeah,
Yeah.
Dodgebans, yeah. So they race those motherfuckers
they're
on Tsukuba,
rocking
yeah.
that
they'll put
I was like, dude, there's a broken one down the street. And it's like, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah, no, they'll put fucking Watanabes on those motherfuckers and race them. It's ridiculous. I love that shit. Yeah, no, oh man, that's so with the work emits on the thing,
dude, right?
Dude,
it's bagged. It's 100% bagged.
No, it's bagged, and he's got the JP kit on it. He's got the chrome trimmer on the edge. The stance is fucking perfect. Shit's hot. VIP cars are hot. Don't sleep on that shit.
I'm not a big fan of the whole curtain thing and all the plushness. I like that.
You got to understand that the whole idea behind that is that I'm the fucking man.
Well, no. Right? Why don't you like it?
Because who is driving in the back seat of your car that needs to be covered by the curtains?
The dude who murders people on the street with a fucking samurai sword because he's
Yakuza. It's one guy driving the car with no passengers.
No.
Well, I got little cousins. I'll let them drive. Like that's fine. I'll sit in the back.
Well, I've met your little cousins. You ain't letting them.
No, I'll let them drive the VIP car, and I'll sit in the back.
My dog. If you put $4,000 wheels, $6,000 suspension, and $2,000 body kit, and $13,000 in interior products, you are not letting Brandon drive that fucking car. Get out of here.
Thank you. Somebody had to fucking say that shit.
If you put all that money in a Japanese shitbox from 1994, you are not letting that motherfucker drive that car.
Be like Pinky from Friday. You almost made me spill my yak.
Oh,
shit.
Oh, shit.
Gotta slow this motherfucker down.
Powder my hand, motherfucker. Powder my hand. That shit's so funny.
Taking these corners entirely too hard.
What is that? A Koki? Like 95?
Yeah, it's a new. Well, it's a whole front end swap too, because I think it's a JP front bumper. So, but I'm excited.
I've always liked the 98.
Yeah, they're fucking like.
They're so nice, dude.
Lexuses of that era are so. I mean, they're not slept on because like GSs and LSs like have a huge following, but I think that other than those guys, like people don't understand. Like a GS 400 in like 2001 did 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. Luxury sedan.
Yeah.
In 2001 with doing 0 to 60 right. Meanwhile, the WRX has been doing a 5-second fucking 0 to 60 for 30 years, and we keep buying them. So like, you know what I mean? Like it's just people will underestimate shit. And even you get into like LS 430s, the newer ones, they're so fucking clean, dude. And they run forever and they make cool sounds when you cut the resonators out of the exhaust and just you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're fucking sick. I've always had a lot of love for that era. But I mean, I'm excited to see where you take your brand. I think that you have done a really good job of building something super fucking cool. And I think if you ever did get into doing track type events, that you would bring a really high caliber of car because you've now associated yourself with that level of vehicle. And I think that there's a potential that you could see something really cool where you don't have this like homogenous group of vehicles at a track day, right? You already bring clean Hondas and GTRs and fucking, you know, garage built cars and Pagani's Hondas and all this sort of shit. Imagine being able to set up classes where you're running Pagani's Hondas versus, you know, the EG hatch that everyone's terrified of. You know what I'm saying? At the track at the same time. And everybody's bringing like a cool quality of car because, you know, you've kind of built that reputation of that's the kind of cars that go to Superdrive. That's the kind of cars that go to Super Donut, right? And when I look through the videos and all the media, it's like, that's what it looks like to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of car meets that I'll roll up to when my car's not washed. I ain't rolling up to Superdrive when my car not washed. But you like that? You know, straight up.
Parking
like,
way down the street.
No. Like
that shit is freshly detailed.
It's getting washed in the garage and straight to the car show. You know what I mean? Like that's it.
There you go.
Yeah, and I think
Chris
that's
brings like the touchless car wash stuff, little spray with the fucking dryer. That's like, this is so
the microfiber.
Yeah.
His overlanding rig.
Can we talk about? I mean, listen. Every time we did that, we were always taking pictures at night. That's all I'm saying.
We did get some good night photos.
No, there's some cool spots, but no, I think that I definitely want to go out there for one of these. I don't know what the schedule's like or anything like that, but I would, you know, it seems cool. It seems like the kind of car shit that I miss being out here, and I appreciate what you're doing with your brand and that you're taking something that has kind of been tainted by a shitty part of car culture, which is just basic meats, right? I mean, like even just JDM meats are a fucking burn anymore, right? Because it's like they just get rolled by cops and people get hoods popped and they get their cars impounded because they're just waiting for some shit to pop off, right? You really can't do night meats anymore.
No.
Because the expectation is there. Even if people aren't doing donuts and revving, the expectation is there so the police are involved.
Yeah.
Right?
The pre-notion that, people had for cars alone.
Well, especially if it's like, oh, Hondas and Subarus, we are the fucking assholes of Japanese car culture. So it's like, you're going to invite. I mean, listen.
Yeah.
I like my car a lot, but I have to also be honest about the type of people that drive the kind of car.
I remember going to meets early on as like a kid and like with my Subaru, and like we would all knowingly leave respectfully because of like that shit.
Don't burn the spot.
But there was always that one or two dudes that we would fucking leave hella fucking. You're like, dude, you're gonna fuck it up for all of us. Like,
what?
Yeah, exactly.
Dumb people are dumb. Dumb people are dumb. As we start to wind down, I do want to kind of, because you sent some shit before when I asked you to, and I want to like also touch on the quality of like the merch that you produce, because I was looking through your fucking website earlier. Like this shit is clean, dude. Like they're cool designs. I like the HKS inspired sticker. I can see the Superdrive.
Thank you.
I can see the Superdrive influence.
Yeah,
shit, you know what I mean? Like
the little hints,
yeah. So like where I grew up in LA was like a predominantly Asian part of Los Angeles, and it's Cantonese, Mandarin, Korean, Vietnamese, whatever, right? So we used to get a lot of cool like fashion culture and shit from all over Asia that you wouldn't see in a lot of parts of I was basically right next to East LA, right? So like there's no room for that shit. And I always thought that Superdrive there was 555 Soul and all those motherfuckers and all that shit, right? Back in the day. And I like your branding, your merchandise, it reminds me of that shit with a big like automotive bent to it. And I think that's rad. So definitely it's superdriveofficial.com, right? Is that what it is?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Superdriveofficial.com. Yeah.
Go check out superdriveofficial.com. He's got sick fucking merch. Check out the page. Go to the car show. Don't be a dick. If you're in the Sacramento area, go check out a Superdrive or a Super Donut because I'm fucking jealous. I want to go. So I think everybody should go check that out.
Bring one down to LA.
You're more than welcome to, dude.
Listen,
bring one down here. Bring one to LA.
LA needs redemption right now. Like,
yeah.
That's in my notes, bro. That's in my notes because I did a Super Drive down there before 3 years ago. Actually,
I want to be part of that.
Yeah.
If you could do anything to legitimize the 6th Street Bridge, I think that Los Angeles would bless you for it. Save the 6th Street Bridge.
You gotta listen to the last episode.
I'm praying for Superdrive to save the 6th Street Bridge, but no, I think that, dude, SoCal, the car culture in SoCal, like it's fucking insane down there, dude. Like
it's suffering
right now because of sideshows and all the other
shutdowns and all that.
Yeah, but it's like when you look at like how many heavy hitters in the automotive industry, even in the aftermarket heavy like automotive industry, are down there, and the type of shit, singers down there, fucking Magnus Walker's down there. You know what I mean? Like you have all this really high end shit. Not everybody wants to go to Lift the Cult and just see air cooled Porsches. People want to see cool Porsches and they want to see cool Japanese cars. They want to see cool cars.
You can go tour Top Rank. You can literally go to Top Rank and tour Top Rank, and they will show you all the Japanese cars from the 90s to today. Anything you want to see.
Like, I can't imagine the amount of strokes they get at that motherfucker, honestly.
I went there for my bachelor party. I ain't gonna lie about it.
And then you went and bought a GTR from somebody else. Piece of shit.
Because the car, they wouldn't do shit that I wanted them to do to it. I'm sorry.
What did they want you to do to it? What did you want to do?
I wanted like some different seats and wheels and this and this. And they're like, well, we don't know if we can do that. And then I'm just like,
You're that motherfucker that like goes to a brand new car dealership and be like, I want this car with a red interior.
No, and I flat told them.
That's not the option I asked for.
I flat told them, I was like, I'm willing to pay more money for wheels and tires and different seats and this and that. They're like, well, we don't know if we can do that because we advertise.
But like, why would
they offer that?
Yeah. Top Rank has a whole backside of it where they will literally go source you parts and all kinds of different shit.
Stroke on, whatever build you want.
Yeah. So Sean, so do you like so Sean from Top Rank, right? Do you remember Motor X back in the day?
Yes, sir. And all
Okay.
Those
So
poor cars.
so
Those poor
Sean
cars.
from Top Rank was a partner in Motor X, but he was not like the head guy, right? And he was the one that like was trying to get them to do it by the book. And I guess there's
right.
a couple of R34s made it through and they got properly crash tested and reinforced and carb certified in the whole 9 yards. But that ended up being like 20 cars out of like 400.
Yeah.
And he was in charge of the ones that are still legal in the States today, and all the other ones got seized or crushed or whatever, right? So when that whole shit went ass over tea kettle,
they fixed it, right?
Well, yeah, he had a process in place, but the guy who owned Motor X, they were so far behind because he was taking all this money and partying and like fucking doing cocaine with it and buying strippers and prostitutes and all this other crazy shit. And so he was basically just like saying he had done the work to these cars, and now he had this license to do so, and he didn't do any of it. And then once the feds figured out what the fuck was going on, they're like, "Well, we want all those cars back, right?" So Sean basically took all of the knowledge he had garnered legitimately importing and making Skyline's carb legal and started Top Rank after Motor X literally went to shit out of mismanagement. So the guy knows his fucking shit, and he's got, he does the whole thing where you can buy a car in Japan and store it till it's legal, and they'll import it, and then they'll make it California legal for you. He's got all the shit in place. But being one of the few guys that does that in the States, especially to make a GTR California legal, it's like another 10 G's on top of purchasing a GTR, right? But it just, it invites for real, you know what I'm saying? It's like, so it's like, and it's not on a show and display, you know what I'm saying? You can just drive the fucking, cause like a show and display, you can only drive the car like 300 miles a year or some shit. And this is like, no, the car is completely fucking legal in the state of California. And any modification, go ahead.
Yeah, got it.
I would say any modification, if there are any, that you can do that's carb compliant to a Skyline is then legal to do to that car because the car is already bar and carb certified, which is wild to me. Fucking, I mean, it's expensive, but that's fucking sick, So
I was gonna say he probably knows somebody, to be able to pull those kind of strings in there.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean
those are some major moves.
That's a big move. But I think
that's a big move to be able for them to give the green light on that type of shit. California.
Yeah.
Well, the
California,
thing is,
he knows somebody.
Well, I think all it is like I think he may know somebody, quote unquote, but I think a lot of it is like if you listen to him, and he's been on a bunch of podcasts over the years, but if you listen to him and like his position on trying to make these cars legal in the States, he's very much like you can't fight the law, right? So you have to like work with the law. He's like, I'm not going to get California to change their fucking emissions compliance regulations. I need to find a way to just work within them. And
there you go.
Right. And if you approach the problem from a solution of trying to solve it versus inherently change the legislature around it, he's just made all that shit work. And he just figured out, and he was smart and just like, listen, this is a 1 out of 49 state problem. So if you want it fixed, you're going to pay for it as the person purchasing the car, right? If you're going to register in Texas, fucking take it because they don't give a shit. And we do not care. We do not care. Us in Florida don't give a shit. No, legit. Like if it's anything,
Florida don't give a fuck.
Single fuck. Arizona's just as bad. But like in
Florida,
so Texas,
you can drive it there, you're good.
Well, see, Texas is a little more strict than people understand. So like if your car has OBD2 from the factory, that OBD2 port has to work, and all of the monitors that came on that car from the factory have to be active. Right. So anything pre-96, you can basically do whatever the fuck you want. But like if I wanted to put a standalone on my STI, I would no longer be able to register. Now in Florida, you can do whatever, and they don't care. So there's actually more restrictive here than it is in a lot of other places. But at the same time, like getting a modern car to be tuned and powerful and run OBD2 is like, that's basically how they all do it. I mean, like Kyle's car makes 560, still uses OBD2. Pretty sure all the monitors are still on, the parameters might be changed, but all the monitors still run if you check them. Right. Yeah. So it's just a matter of like how you have your car built. But yeah, to do that shit in a state like California and basically just pass it along and set up this whole business, it's fucking genius, dude. You know what I mean?
Big accomplishment. Yeah.
Yeah. And people have the money to pay for this shit out there.
Yeah.
I would love that shit.
Hats off, yeah, definitely.
Or you could be like Mike and Lenny and just be scumbags. And
I have a vacation home in Arizona, so you can go fuck yourself.
Are you on the deed?
I am.
Did you make the deed yourself in Photoshop?
No. It's in a will.
No.
So I'm on the deed.
Oh,
so
okay.
It doesn't matter.
He's on
Quite
it,
privileged.
whether
Anyway.
it's active or not.
It's not my fault my entire family lives there.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Anyway.
There's a loophole. I'm going to use it. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, that's the American way, baby.
Don't fight the law. Just work with the law.
That's right. Work around. Yeah, don't fight it. Work around it. Don't regulate it. Deregulate it.
Shit.
Anyway, when's the next show, Tim? When's the next Superdrive? When's the next Super Dono? Do we know yet?
I'm thinking next month.
Next month?
The 25th. Yeah,
Next
it'll
month?
be in the HQ where my creative content shop is.
Okay.
I did it there before, and it's been exactly a year and a half now since I did it at the home base. So it's not as big as the one that, as far as like location wise. So let's see how that's gonna turn out, because the last time I did an event in there, it was like basically the whole block is. That's it. It was filled. All the businesses, all their parking lots had been filled. There was like little meets along with this big meet.
That's fucking sick.
Awesome.
That's super sick.
Fucking tag us in it. We'll promote the shit out of it.
We'll do.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on, dude. If there's anything you want to plug it ruthlessly right now.
Just check out my other page, Creative Contents. I do basically branding stuff like making t-shirts. You need a website, you need a logo. Pretty much anything has to do with branding, helping you build that name. I got you. Just visit the page and just look at Superdrive, superdriveofficial.com, and the Instagram page as well.
We will make sure to tag all that shit in the description for the pod, and we push the YouTube and all that good shit. We appreciate you being on, Tim. Thank you so much. It's cool that you're doing something to bring some legitimacy back to the car culture and try to kind of elevate us above, I think, what during COVID with the streets empty, a lot of people have come to expect out of us. We're not all fucking assholes. So yeah. Go follow at Superdrive Official. Go follow at creative.tim. I've put his IG handle in the description of the pod tonight. It'll be in the description of the pod episode when it launches. Please make sure to join our Discord. Link in bio. Discord is growing. We're having fun. We're talking. We're bullshitting. We're plotting out maybe doing something cool. Maybe we do with Superdrive. Who knows? We'll talk on the side. We'll figure it out.
Real good memes going on.
Never know. We
You
have
like memes? The Discord is for you.
Yeah, if you like slandering everybody's car that you don't drive,
everybody's
fucking Discord is the place to be.
Nobody is safe. Nobody is safe.
Literally, it's fucking great. It's been awesome to be able to connect with you guys.
Likewise.
Yeah, and Tim, again, we really appreciate it. Like and subscribe to Superdrive's content. You want to see some high caliber shit? Go check that out. We'll be back in a couple of weeks as per usual. 50th show is coming up pretty soon. We're gonna figure out some dope for that. We're gonna make it a big deal. It's a big milestone for us. Yeah, it's cool, man. Honestly, when we started doing this, I had almost no expectations.
Just nobody had anything to do.
Yeah.
No. Aren't you guys so glad? Like you guys stuck through it. It's like through the bullshit, and it's like, man, I'm really ready to throw the towel on this bullshit.
Yeah.
There was a couple of times.
You just kind of look back and you're like, damn, I'm glad I stuck through this fucking thing.
Well, it's super interesting that you say that, because we pretty recently came out of and I'm sure you've experienced, you hit a lull, right? You hit like a plateau. It's just like, it's like working out or anything else. You get growth and then you kind of stall. And then we just kept making content, grinding it out. And then you start to see that next pocket of growth. And you realize like this game is just growing from pocket of growth to pocket of growth to pocket of growth.
Yeah.
You have to push through. You just got to keep making fucking content. And I think that's where people fall out. It's a long game, dog. It's a long game. You know what I'm saying?
Super facts.
The big game.
Super
now that I have like a certain amount of data that I can look back into and reference it to, it's about being consistent. And as long as you stay long in the game, long enough for you to see what you have done, dude, You
It'll
know,
work.
that's the key right there.
Yeah.
It'll work. It'll work. And yeah, I mean, that's not even like, I'm not even talking about a decade long of like, experience that I have here.
We've been doing this
just
shit for like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
To
I'm
be
just
honest,
approaching like 4 years. This is baby still. And,
Yeah.
I could imagine if I stuck through this another, 6 years, 10 years.
Crazy.
Dude.
yeah,
You're doing hyperfet shit.
yeah.
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
I mean, it's just really cool that with you only doing this for like a couple years, like I've seen multiple of my dream cars that I never thought I'd see before in Sacramento.
That's heartwarming, dude. I'm glad to hear it.
I mean, it's crazy, and I mean, sorry, Alex, I don't mean to talk about Porsches all the time. I don't know if it's
There's
a
no stopping it.
993 or a 964, but dude, Alex, you would have loved it. It was a Carrera RS.
Yeah.
in
Pretty sure
Guards
that was
Red.
I think that was a 6.4.
Is okay. 6.4 Carrera
6.4s are
RS,
so
like,
pretty.
Was it
and it's just beautiful.
That
It's
red one.
stock.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's so pretty.
and it just looks original.
It's a timeless design. Listen,
Oh, so good.
to Porsche's credit, they picked a design that worked and they just fucking wrote it. You know what I mean? Like just ride that bitch to the ground.
So many cars that have come to your meets that I never thought I would see. The miniature cars, I'm sorry, I don't know what they are.
Cafe cars.
The cafe cars.
Yeah.
Sean's AZ1.
Yeah.
It's a
Oh,
monster.
the Moto Zen
Doors
is
that go up.
Yes,
fuck.
yes.
And bro, it is
That's
momoed the
X
fuck
before
out.
the
It's
model
so
comes
small.
out.
They're
Momoed
so
out.
they're
It's just
Italian
so many
Momo
things that I
everywhere.
never
Yeah.
thought that I would see that I've gotten to
AutoZam
see
AZ1.
multiple
That's
Auto
what
times.
Jam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been cool. It's been really cool to see things that you wouldn't expect to see at a normal
Glad to
car
hear
meet.
that.
It's I like that. More shit, like less shitty revy car meets, more chill, mature car meets. 2282 and up. So yeah. Anyway, we appreciate you guys hanging out. We appreciate Tim for coming on. Check out Superdrive. We'll be clicked up. We'll be doing shit. We'll be selling merch. We got new shirts coming. We got shit going in the Discord. Like, subscribe, join. Catch us in the next one in 2 weeks. We appreciate all you guys hanging out. Drive safe, be cool, don't be dicks. And until the next time, peace out. We love all you guys.
Until the next
out.
time, or
Thanks, guys.
just don't be dicks, or
No, don't be dicks until the next time. And then the next time I'll tell you also don't be a dick. And then we're just like, you know,
You just let that sign off happen.
cool. Yeah, we're just gonna let that go.
Later,
All right.
guys.
Hey.